Okay, so I'm going to start my presentation of the comparing outdoor education, so comparing Japanese and New Zealand, as like that. Okay, so first introducing myself, I'm the visiting scholar from Japan. My name is Masahiro Okada. Please call me Masa. And I have moved and lived many places in Japan. So I was born in Kobe City in the Hyogo. And after growing up, I moved to Yokohama City in the Kanagawa Prefecture. Maybe you guys know the picture of the wave is a drawing by the Kanagawa Prefecture. And I studied at the Ibaraki City in the Tsukuba City in the Ibaraki Prefecture. And I start my teaching in the university, in the Sendai University, just after the 2011, the big earthquake in Japan. And now I'm teaching the Tokai University back to the Kanagawa Prefecture, and my field is outdoor education and some of the environment education. And my favorite Japanese food is ramen noodle. Okay, the background of the research. So first thing is outdoor education is shaped by the cultural and geographic context. So each country has each culture and geographic. And outdoor education is very influenced by the culture and the geographic. So each country has each outdoor education. And one more keyword is view of nature. So whether it is spiritual, useful, relational, or whatever, view of nature shapes how outdoor education is conceptualized and practiced. So we have to think about the people in the country, what kind of the view of nature they have. So we have to figure out the view of nature and try to think about the practice of the outdoor education. So this is the significance, and in Japan we are not so many study about comparing other countries. So we are very close. Not so many comparing. So I think it is very important to think about other countries' outdoor education, and it's very good for compare with New Zealand and Japan. So this is the significance of this research. Okay, this is the purpose of this study, to explore and compare the perspective of the outdoor education and the views of the nature in Japan and Aotearoa, New Zealand. And through my lived experience and reflection of the Japanese visiting researchers' lens. And methodology is autoethnography. Autoethnography is an approach to reach and writing that seeks to describe and systematically analyze personal experience in order to understand cultural experiences. So its 4 months has passed. So based on my experience so far, I analyzed. It's not finished yet, but in just now, just 4 months of analyze. And it is very important. My position is a Japanese outdoor education practitioner and researcher. So I really, I don't understand whole things about the New Zealand, but I try to portray from the Japanese perspectives. Okay, this is a result. The first thing is similarity in the outdoor education. I think this is a deep cultural and spiritual connection to the nature. So both countries in the New Zealand and Japan has a deep connection to the nature. For example, it's Japan, and the picture of the one is top of the Mount of Fuji. It's very highest in Japan, and in the top it's like the shrine. So we are thinking the god in the enshrined in top of the mountain. It's very famous in Japan. And this is a religion of the Shinto, and the mountain religion of the Shugendo is very influenced to the Japanese outdoor education. And also the picture in the middle is a Satoyama culture. Satoyama is just between mountain and the city. It's a borderland between village and mountain. And they coexist with human and nature. So it is very representative of the Japanese outdoor education. And also in New Zealand, you guys have the Maori values. And I think in the New Zealand and Japan is very deep connection to the nature. And this is the differences in outdoor education. I think it is a system and curriculum. And I think it is very good, better in the New Zealand, better than Japan, I think. I'm envious of that. Because you guys have the EOTC in the school curriculum and educated good human resources in the university and the polytech. I see, yeah, I think it is very good system. And in Japan, outdoor ed is not so strong as like New Zealand. Outdoor education is just extracurricular and just school field trip or 1 or 2 days. Almost, yeah, over the 90% is 1 or 2 days in field trip. And we focus too much about corrective behavior and group discipline. So we are not fully utilizing the potential of the outdoor education, just too much on the group discipline. It's like Japanese. Japanese are like that. Okay, next, in terms of the view of nature, I termed out the duality. It is very, I think, important concept. So it is a dual structure in both countries. In Japan, we have the traditional view of nature and the modern view of nature. And in the New Zealand, you guys have Western view of nature and Maori's view of nature. And this is interesting, I think, the dual structure coexistence without clear boundaries. So border is very fuzzy, and it's up to some people. So some people has a big Maori's value, and some people does not. And I think it's very diversity. It's same thing. It's same thing in Japan. Some people very important traditional, but some people doesn't care about it so much. So, for example, the picture in the middle, it is a traditional Japanese drum performance in the Japanese festival, and it is very traditional than upper face. But we use the car by trying to move around. It's very modern value, so it's mixed up. And the big picture is the Japanese traditional food as the New Year. We celebrate with many food in the New Year, but you guys, it's very traditional, Japanese traditional. But you guys see roast beef in the middle and the cheesecakes. So this is kind of the mixed up. And I think Japanese are very feeling good, and is very good at incorporates culture from another country and mixed up in the Japanese culture. So there are many culture from the other country, and we don't feel we feel better about that. We don't care about so much from the other country, and we are very good at incorporating. Okay, and this is differences in the view of nature. So I said responsibility versus harmony. In the New Zealand, you guys have the responsibility to protect the nature, and you guys think nature as a variable entity to be protected. So this view of nature reflected in the national laws, education, and tourism policies. On the other hand, Japanese the keyword is harmony with nature, and we think nature is respected as a coexistence presence. We don't think we think nature as just the way it is. So we think let the nature as they are. So we are not good at it. Think of the control or manage or protect, because nature is it's not object, because it's kind of ourself. So maybe Western view of nature thinks that control or manage the nature, but it's not unfamiliar for us. So this is I think differences, and a little bit discussion about it. So in Japan, it's something gap between the world of the nature. That called shizen. That is nature in Japanese, and before the word of English come to Japan, we have this word. We pronunciation jinen, and it's the nature of itself and things as they are. So just as like that. And around 1850, the English come to Japan, and so let's translate what's the nature to the Japanese, and we put this word to the nature. But English word of nature has a scientific means, as a wilderness and ecosystem. So now if we say about the nature, it almost means a scientific means, but still the let nature be idea still remain. So maybe, I think if you guys say nature and what you think, and Japanese think nature a little bit different. And still we have the nature is just let nature be idea. And that's why we are not good at it, control or protect the nature. And also we have the long history over than 2,000 years. So we have, each generation has a view of nature, its transit so wrong. The very, very old days we have the animistic view, and after we starting the farm, we are good at farming rice, and we have the practical interaction through the farming rice and ritual. We call the practical view of nature. And also these days, some high position people, the noble people, has a aesthetic view. It's a natural beauty in the art. I think it's kind of the romanticism, I think. But very few people, it's very high position people. And after that, religious people view is very strong in Japan, as like Buddhism and traditional Japanese religion, Shinto and Shugendo. It's very strong in Japan. And after that, we call the Furyu view. Furyu, that means the seasonal charm. So many urban commoners enjoy the seasonal beauty, like spring, summer, autumn, winter, and the festival or the seasonal festival. So I think Japanese people is one of the most very sensitive to the season in the world. So we're enjoying the transition of the season. And after that, kind of from the Western is the mechanistic view, and Western view of nature come to Japan, and it's very huge and strong. Thanks to this view of nature, Japan has very developed so fast, I think. But scientific understanding of nature as a resource. And after the World War II, there are many view of nature, but I think Japanese view of nature is very belongs to that world trend and environmental ethic and sustainability, and also it's an ecological view of nature. But we have the thinking of the coexistence with the nature, and we call that animistic and practical religious view. And the Furyu is a traditional Japanese view of nature, and many people sometimes forget about that, but I think it still remain in our body or mind. And just last thing, I have to think about, if I talk about the view of nature, I think I mentioned about the Japanese subculture. It is, we expressed our view of nature in the subculture. And especially we are showing about the coexistence as well as tension or friction. We portray about that. So you guys, so how many people know about the Studio Ghibli? How many? Oh yeah, half of that. It's very famous movie in Japan, and it's a Neighbor Totoro is a expression of the connection and comforting of the nature. But Nausicaa is a very old movie, and it's very complex about ecological crafts and biocentrism. And also Princess Mononoke is showing the conflict and harmony. And these three animation movies is very my famous. I watched so many times. And this is a show of the Japanese view of nature. And this movie also make us make of the view of nature. And also this is a Japanese game. The Japanese game is very famous in the world as Nintendo. And even in the game, there are connection with the nature. And you guys know Pokemon. Pokemon has each belongings to the fire and water and thunder and as like that. And other games is same. And it's very familiar for us, obtained from energy from the nature because of our nature of the view. So this is the conclusion. And yeah, we are in Japanese view of nature are not well integrated into the policy and education as like New Zealand. So we think, but we shouldn't discard the traditional value. So we should think about integration with the traditional or global trend of value. And so I think I should do that by the outdoor education, direct experience with the nature. And I'm the academic person, so I think I should develop models of the view of nature through the outdoor education. Okay, thank you so much. Ooh.